The federal government has launched training for 4,000 tractor operators under its nationwide agricultural mechanization program. Hi, welcome to What's Happening. These are our top 10 stories countdown today. At number 10, an unknown projectile hit a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, a key point of tension in the US to Iran conflict on Tuesday, as President Donald Trump insisted the waterway could reopen within hours. Tehran and Washington have been at war since February 28, when the US and Israel launched surprise attacks on Iran. Despite a ceasefire and preliminary deal in the months since, diplomacy has failed to end the war. The Strait of Hormuz, a key conduit for global oil and gas supplies, has been the spark for repeated returns to fighting. Iran wanting to maintain control over and charge tolls for the strait, powers it did not exercise before the war and which the US fiercely opposes. At number 9, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Team Nigeria on its impressive performance at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland, praising the athletes for winning 24 medals and describing their achievements as a reflection of the resilience and excellence of the Nigerian spirit. Nigeria finished the games with a total haul of 24 medals, comprising 10 gold, 7 silver, and 7 bronze, placing the country among the top performing nations at the multi-sports event. In a statement issued on Tuesday by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ananuga, the president commended the athletes for representing the country with distinction and bringing pride to Nigerians through their performances. At number 8, the governorship candidate of Africa Democratic Congress, Honorable Najim Salam, has vowed to revive the education welfare policies introduced during the administration of former Osun State Governor Ralph Aregbesola if elected. Salam, a former Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly at his party's campaign held in Iwo, where he first paid Olowo of Iwo land, Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akombi, and members of his traditional council a visit expressed appreciation to former Governor Ralph Aregbesola, party leaders and supporters for their commitment to the party and development of Osun. He outlined his plans to improve infrastructure, strengthen security, and enhance youth welfare, with particular emphasis on the education sector. At number 7, the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday dismissed a suit by the People's Democratic Party seeking to strip a Benue State House of Assembly member representing Okpoko constituency, Anthony Atta, of his seat following his defection to the All Progressives Congress. The PDP had sued the Independent National Electoral Commission, the APC, and Atta, asking the court to determine, among other issues, whether votes cast for the party could be transferred to another political party after a legislature defects. The party also sought declarations that Atta's continued occupation of the seat after his defection was unlawful, that all legislative actions taken since his defection were null and void, and that he should refund salaries and other privileges received after leaving the PDP. At number 6, the Lagos State Police Command, in collaboration with a local vigilante group, have arrested 2 suspected armed robbers and recovered a locally made cut-to-size Dane gun and 3 live cartridges during a crime prevention patrol in the Odogunya area of the state. The police public relations officer SP Abimbola Adebisi disclosed this in a statement released on Tuesday. According to the statement, the suspect attempted to escape after spotting the security team, but were swiftly apprehended. Commending the operatives and members of the local vigilante group, the Commissioner of Police Tijani Fatai praised their vigilance and cooperation in foiling the suspected criminals. At number 5, Ambassador Nkechi Ofochukwu has officially assumed office as Nigeria's ambassador to Israel after presenting her letters of credence to Israeli President Isaac Herzog. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, saying the ceremony took place in Jerusalem on Monday. President Herzog, while receiving the Nigerian envoy, expressed Israel's readiness to work closely with Nigeria to advance shared interests, particularly in innovation and counter-terrorism. Ufochukwu is among the 65 ambassadors designate whose postings were approved by President Bola Tinubu on March 6, 2026, following their confirmation by the Senate in December 2025. The appointment comprised 34 career diplomats and 31 political ambassadors. At number 4, a 25-year-old Nigerian student in the United Kingdom, Anderson Ishekwene, has been sentenced to 3 years in prison and faces automatic deportation after attempting to meet who he believed was a 14 14-year-old girl for sex following online sexual grooming. The report stated that Ishekwene, who arrived in the UK from Nigeria on a student visa in August 2025 and settled in Sunderland, began communicating with the profile on Facebook on January 2nd before moving the conversation to WhatsApp. Prosecutors told Newscastle Crown Court that over the course of 8 days, Ishekwene exchanged more than 300 pages of messages with the decoy, despite repeatedly being informed that the person who he believed he was communicating with was 14 years old. At number 3, the federal government has directed vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts across the country to immediately dismiss any student found culpable after due investigation of involvement in kidnapping or other violent crimes as part of fresh measures to strengthen security across tertiary institutions. The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, gave the directive on Tuesday during a meeting with the Governing Council and management of the Federal University of Lafia, Nasarawa State, where concerns were raised over the alleged involvement of some students in off-campus kidnapping activities. The meeting, led by the university's pro-councillor, Lola Akonde, focused on campus security, infrastructure, student welfare, and the federal government's ongoing higher education reforms. At number 2, the Kano House of Assembly has passed the Kano State Private and Voluntary Institutions Board Bill 2026 with recommendations aimed at strengthening the regulation and management of private and voluntary educational institutions across the state. The bill was passed during Monday's plenary after lawmakers considered and adopted the report of the House Committee on Education, which conducted public hearings and engaged relevant stakeholders before presenting its findings to the Assembly. At number 1, the federal government has launched training for 4,000 tractor operators under its nationwide agricultural mechanization program, a major initiative aimed at expanding modern farming, improving food production, and equipping young Nigerians with technical skills for development. The training is being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security through the National Agricultural Development Fund in collaboration with AGCOMS, International Trading Limited, and the Industrial Training Fund, as part of efforts to advance President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for agricultural transformation and economic growth. That's all for today. See you next time on What's Happening.